Don't give it away, guys. Are we live? We are live. Welcome back to Royals Weekly live edition, late night. Let's call it Royals Weekly after dark because Alex has a nice little dark thing going on here, which probably fits his mood and also
When
the
does
time of
silk
day.
stockings start?
That's going to be a reference for
That's
the
going to
late
be
30s
probably a little
crowd.
too old for Alex on that
Early
one.
40s crowd. We are just about to hit the Royals at pick at 66. So far, they have taken Blake Mitchell, catcher from Texas, high school catcher from Texas, and Blake Walters, high school pitcher from Illinois, right-hander. We talked a little bit about both of those in our previous live viewings here. Alex, Mike, you both had a chance to go back, read more about Blake Walters, look at some more video. Any new thoughts on on that last pick for the Royals of Blake Walters?
No new thoughts.
No new thoughts. I had new thoughts.
My new thoughts are just he does have a live arm. I will say that. But you and I kind of discussed. A lot of guys at that spot have live arms. A lot of right-handed prep pitchers have live arms. It's going to be years of development to get him to Major League Baseball, and the road of that development is fraught with danger. So, still way too risky for my my liking.
Okay. I liked what I was seeing when I looked at some more video. I especially liked the things that I liked were that like he has put on muscle. He has gotten stronger. He is throwing 95, 97, topping 99 according to some. I do think that the secondaries aren't close to there. I think he needs a development with those. But, he has a slider. He has a changeup. I'd love for them to add a fourth. We'll see on that one. Guys you like who are still available, both of you. Go.
Well, I mentioned Hunter Owen. If they're going to keep with the high school route, Cameron Johnson is still there. Cole Schoenwetter is still there. I like him a lot. Both prep pitchers. Cameron Johnson's a lefty. Schoenwetter's a righty. If you're looking prep bat, I like Cooper Pratt a little bit. I don't love him, but I like him. If you're going college, I really like Hunter Owen. Jack Hurley is still there, surprisingly. He's not going to be he's more of a high floor kind of a guy. But he'd be an interesting pick. So any one of those guys I think I'd be okay with.
Marcus, what do you think?
One of the guys I'm a fan of just got taken.
Cole Carrick.
Yeah. I like the overall profile.
I really like Travis Sikora. Like if you're going to take a prep right-handed pitcher, Travis Sikora seems like a more analytically inclined pick. He's 6'6", but he throws like Emmett Sheehan where he kind of comes around the ball a little bit in order to vertical approach. Like if you're real big, remember Chris Young, he drove the ball down. What you want in a guy like Emmett Sheehan where they come around the side of the ball a little bit and they can spin the ball a little more horizontally, it allows the ball to ride through the top of the zone. That's what we talk about with vertical approach angle. It's a very similar change that Chris Bubich made last offseason that had his fastball working better. It's like Cora's 6'6", but instead of driving the ball down, he kind of comes off to the side a little bit, spinning it this way to get that horizontal spin. And his fastball rides to the top of the zone well. And his slider might be a top 5 breaking ball in the draft because it is, he is coming from this slot and his fastball stays vertical and his slider comes off and sweeps. I really like Travis Sikora here. He's a guy who I came on to a little bit late in the process. Brandon Winokur is still available. Liam Peterson is another huge prepped fastball guy. The guy that I'm going to keep my eye on is Kiefer Lord. He's a righty out of Washington who just didn't have the results that maybe you'd think for a college pitcher, but the stuff kind of matches. Like reminds me of Jonathan Heasley in the 13th round, where it's just like the stuff doesn't make sense for what he's not doing in college, but the Royals are picking, so let's just stop.
That pick is in. They have chosen Carson Roccaforte, a center fielder from Louisiana. This is not LSU. This is, I'm guessing, what do we call this? Did it used to have a different name maybe? This looks like the Raging Cajuns or something.
Is it ULL? Yeah.
Yeah, it is the Raging Cajuns. Yeah. So yes, this is Carson Roccaforte. Anybody have thoughts on Carson Roccaforte taking a college hitter here with this pick at 66? Center fielder, athletic guy. I've only remember reading a few things about him
I think a guy who's you're going to see with a little bit more floor than some of the other guys that they're taking up to this point.
And so maybe there is a conscious effort there to be like, maybe we need some guys in this draft who, have a decent chance of making it to Major League Baseball.
What are your guys' thoughts on
Carson Roccaforte.
Seems like a guy that I gave up on at one point because when I started doing like a deep dive into the draft, I stopped at guys like this. You mentioned it; it's a very much a safer profile. So this reminds me of the Vinny Pasquantino pick because when Vinny Pasquantino was drafted, huge sophomore season, gets hurt, didn't have a great junior year. Carson Roccaforte is a sophomore at Louisiana Lafayette, went nuclear, 16 home runs, 11 doubles, 1107 OPS. Strikeout to walk ratio was close to one, more strikeouts, but it was close. And then 25 stolen bases. And then this year, I don't know if it was a health thing. I don't know if it was an approach thing, but he only hit 8 home runs, but he hit 26 doubles. He stole 22 bags. Strikeouts were way up, but walks were up. And his OPS was 200 points lower than it was as a sophomore. He had a bad year on the Cape last summer. It seems like the kind of pick where you're trying to okay, if Blake Walters was getting in on the bottom floor, this is trying to buy a guy cheaper post hype. I would assume maybe this is a money saving pick. I don't know how you would be overpaying for this. But if you needed some money to pay for Blake Mitchell and Blake Walters, then maybe Carson Roccaforte can be that money saver as well.
Do not say that. Do not put that into the universe that they need more money to play Blake Mitchell. They do not need more money to play Blake Mitchell. They don't need it. That's crazy. You know who this guy reminds me of right out the gate? Sal Frelick.
No, no.
Yeah, he's
Don't
not
start
there
with the Sal Frelick stuff.
He's not there.
First off, he isn't close to that.
He's not close to that, right? Because Sal Frelick is going to be a solid Major League Baseball player, like I predicted he would be. So don't tell me, because both of you were on the anti-Sal Frelick.
He's got a 105 ISO in AAA. Let's slow down.
He also plays a very good center field. This is why I think this guy could be very much like that, right? And so I've read up a little bit on him previously, and I think I remember them saying that he made some swing adjustments, or that his swing is different this year. He's intentionally not. It's a flatter swing. It's given him more ground balls and less leverage on the ball, and he's not driving it as much. And as a result, he's sort of made a mistake, right? He needs to go back to hitting more line drives, a little bit more leverage with the ball. Solid athletic profile. I think he can stick in center field. Is he ever going to be? The question I always ask when they take a center fielder is he ever going to be better than the other center fielders they could have, right? And I don't have an answer to that question, because right now they actually don't have a ton of what I would call like legit center field prospects in their system. I don't know if he's a legit one or if he's just another guy, but a college hitter, a guy who they were looking, I think you're absolutely right, Alex. I think they're trying to buy the dip here. I think they're like, if he had hit the same way as a junior as he did as a sophomore, he'd be going, at the back end of the first round, maybe somewhere in the middle of the second. Let's get him here at the end of the second round, really, and gain ourselves a little bit of value there. But honestly, not a dude they'll have to overpay for, I don't think. And
they should underpay. Exactly. Like, they shouldn't have to pay him at all.
No, they'll give him slot at this pick, I'm sure, but I don't know why you would ever need to pay more than that. I think maybe they'll have to overpay for Walters, maybe, but I'm not that much. And so it'll be curious. How are they going to spend their money? Because if they give Blake Mitchell slot value, I am going to just not be happy.
That's my thing. Like, okay, Blake Mitchell, you would think, has to be saving you some money. I understand maybe paying Walters a little bit more. I would get that to keep him from going to college. Okay. Especially since, I don't know where he's committed to Arizona, I think, okay, keep him away from Arizona. That's fine. I would think this has to be slightly under slot as well, so that you can go out and get, maybe there's some guys they're targeting in later rounds that they're going to have to give money to. I can't imagine who that would be or why you would do that. This is baffling to me in a sense. Now, I will say this. If you're looking at their organization as a whole, I agree with you, Mark. I don't think there's a whole lot of center field depth in their organization as a whole. You look at guys like Diego Hernandez coming back off of injury here. Peyton Wilson hasn't had a whole lot of run in center. So I don't really know after that who you're talking about prospect wise in center field. So I do understand. Okay. But there were still some really, I mean, Cameron Johnson's still out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a whole lot of other guys I would have taken, even if you're looking, college bat, Jack Hurley is still out there.
Jack Hurley, if you're looking for a center fielder, Jack Hurley is still out there. Right?
Like,
and Jack Hurley, he doesn't have the power profile of Gavin Cross, but I think Jack Hurley is a better athlete in center. I think I would actually compare those two in certain ways, not in all ways, obviously, but Jack Hurley, I think, is probably a better potential prospect than Carson Roccaforte. But we'll see. I mean, it's just some of these picks are so baffling tonight. Alex, do you have any more thoughts on Roccaforte and why they might have chosen him?
You want to know what grade I'm going to give that pick?
Yeah.
B minus.
Nobody fails Mr. Duvall's class.
I'm really okay with it. Like it's not the most overwhelming pick in the world, but there's a good profile here to work with. And if you look at his sophomore season, he really hit the crap out of the ball. Like there is clearly something here that the Royals could build on. And I'm serious. Like the profile works. You look at a Vinny Pasquantino, guys gave up on him because of his junior season, and you're able to get him at a discount. If Carson Roccaforte replicates his junior year or his sophomore year as a junior, he's not still here. He's going in the first 2 rounds. And so I think when you really consider like what there is to work with and what he's produced in the past and the changes he's tried to make and what the Royals might be able to do with him, I think you're looking at a pick that honestly, nobody should be surprised if he's the first pick in the draft class to the big leagues. I mean, this is a very Diego Hernandez-ish pick. Diego Hernandez is one of the top 20 prospects in the system. So I won't have him. I might have Roccaforte in front of Walters on my first list that comes out this week. We'll see how he hits. I think you send him straight to Columbia and see what happens. But I think this is a better pick than the Walters pick.
That's interesting to me because they are in some ways diametrically opposed picks in terms of philosophy, right? Because Roccaforte definitely represents a floor, right? Whereas Walters definitely represents a ceiling with a lot more variance and a lot more risk. And it's like, okay, which one of these? But if you take both of them within the first 3 rounds, you're also sort of saying like, we're not going to have a coherent
We don't have a plan.
That's not actually true because you probably do want a mix of both of those things, right? You don't want to sell out for ceiling, take 20 guys who, all have a 2% chance of making it to Major League Baseball. But, so I understand that. But Roccaforte, I think if you look at him, you're saying we're buying the 60 run grade, right? We're buying the fact that he can stick in center. And so there's a solid floor for him there, right? If we can get him back to what he was doing his sophomore year at Louisiana, then we have something really to work with. And you've mentioned a guy on your Twitter timeline 1,000 times so far this year, Javier Vaz, a guy that the Royals got later in the draft last year, ended up he was a productive college hitter, has been pretty productive at the major league level, probably not quite the defender that Roccaforte can be. And so we'll see, but he's a guy who, it's interesting because those first 2 picks are going to just infuriate some Royals fans because of how risky they are. Well, then this pick should make those people happy because it's a lot safer, if that makes sense.
Here's the difference between the 2 picks that you guys are talking about and the one today. You're talking about Vinny Pasquantino. You're talking about Javier Vaz. Vinny Pasquantino went in the 11th. When did Vaz go? Anybody know? Anybody remember?
14.
I can't remember. 14.
Yeah, but if you're redrafting, that's what I'm saying. Like Vinny Pasquantino, if you redrafted today, would be one of the first 10 picks in the draft of his class.
But my question is, is this a guy you could have gotten in 2 rounds?
Maybe, but if you can get him cheaper, if you can save slot value money to give to, by the way, Cameron Johnson's still there. So you give somebody like a Cameron Johnson money later, then it doesn't really matter what you're paying Roccaforte per se. It matters how much you're saving on the front end. So if you can get Roccaforte and save money. Like let's use Vinny then. Okay, so you take Vinny in the 11th round. Let's say that Roccaforte costs you $500,000 in the 11th round. You're actually minus 100,000 on your bonus pool. But if you pay Roccaforte $1 million where you drafted him, then you're plus 100,000 or whatever the slot value is, right? You're
Yeah, I see what you're
plus
saying.
money there. So you might pay him more money, but in the grand scheme of things, it's plus minus where you are in your bonus pool to give to other players.
So we know that Alex is a B- with this pick. Very way to break the mold on what you're doing there, Alex. Mike, what are you on this pick as a grade?
Oh, I'll probably go with a C on this one. I'm a pretty tough grader, apparently. I don't know, but yeah, I'll go with a C because I do think you buy into the stuff that he did as a sophomore. I do think you buy into the fact that he has at least shown the ability to make adjustments. Maybe they weren't good adjustments. Maybe you need to go back to what you were doing. But yeah, I think there is something to work with here, and of course the floor seems a lot higher in that, and it is a position of organizational need as far as up and down the whole system. You need guys that can play center field because you don't have very many. Go ahead and get one that can at least do that. And if you feel like you can work with him on the swing, work with him to get back to where he was, that's something that you do. So I'll give it a C. I'm not, although I will say this comprehensively tonight, I'm a little disappointed.
Just thinking
Okay.
out loud, Marcus, I know you may have a better idea than Mike on this specifically. If you had
I have a lot of
to
better
take
ideas than Mike. That's like a general thing.
yes, correct. But he's better looking, so
Damn straight.
the better looking identical twin. If you had to take a guess as to where you would rank these three in terms of in the system right now, just a general ballpark, like top 5 to 10, 10 to 15, where would you have them?
That is tough. You know that unlike you, I am more willing to give guys credit for what they've done in professional baseball. And so a lot of evaluators, they'll take these guys from the draft and put them immediately at the top of prospect lists. And I understand why, high potential because we haven't seen anything from them in professional baseball. I'm not like that. And so Blake Mitchell is going to be behind Mazzucato for sure. He's going to be behind Caderna, he's going to be behind. I would say probably Caden Wallace. He's going to be behind. This is going to sound crazy to some people, but I'm going to put him behind Gavin Cross. I'll hold
It's
out
not
one more
crazy.
year's worth of hope for Gavin Cross.
So you're saying 5 to 10 probably.
Well, I would even say closer to more like 6 to 9 for me. For Mitchell, Walters will be right behind him. Honestly, I think those are two almost identical picks, and so I'll put Walters at 11 to 13 probably, and then Roccaforte is going to come in at the back end of the teens or front end of the 20s for me probably.
How would you compare Mitchell and Carter Jensen?
How would I compare Mitchell and Carter Jensen? They would be
Just in a
close to each
ranking.
other. They would be close together, but Mitchell would probably be just above him, in large part for me, because coming out, Mitchell, I do think has a slight edge defensively over what Carter Jensen had when he was coming out. And then I think the hit tool for Mitchell is going to be better than Jensen's. And so, but we'll see. I mean, that's so close. They're going to be so close. They would be right next to each other virtually.
I mean, how far apart are they in age?
Not
Mitchell's
very.
Mitchell's
far.
not because
Mitchell's
19
old.
now or
Mitchell's
gonna be
old
19
for a
Yeah.
for a guy coming out of high school, and so they're close. They might.
I mean, let's look up Carter Jensen just real quick because
He just turned 20.
20.
Yes.
so they are exactly.
And he'll be,
a
and I
year.
think in August Mitchell will be 19. So
Now here's the thing: they're exactly a year. But remember, Carter Jensen was taken 2 years ago, right? Back in 2021. They are only
2
a
years
year
of Major League
apart,
Baseball.
right?
And so
Those two
When
could be
did-
playing together at LSU right now.
When does Blake Mitchell, when's his birthday? Did you find that?
I think he just turned
It's August.
19.
It's in August, I'm pretty sure.
Tell me he's going to turn 20 in August.
No, he'll be 19 in August.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure he's already 19.
No,
Is
he's
he
about
really?
to turn 19. He's about to turn 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, that's Blake Mitchell.
August 3rd.
I
August
still would
3rd.
have
So they're
him.
1 month. So they are what is that? 13 months apart.
Yeah, that is crazy. That is crazy to me. Because they were taken 2 years apart in the draft. But yeah, I think I'll take Mitchell.
Who else was that
right-
old
right
high
above
school
Jensen.
phenom we took once at 5 who was old for his class? Bubba Starling.
You know, Bubba and Blake Mitchell have the same birthday.
The exact same birthday?
Oh.
Son of a bitch.
All right. I still have faith in you, Blake Mitchell. Come on, buddy. All right, guys. Last question, and then we're done for the night because I have to somehow mishmash all this together. I want a grade for the whole first day.
B-.
I want to know.
You do
I
not
know what
want
your
that.
grade for the whole first day is. How could it be anything else? You gave them all B minuses. Mike, what's your grade for the first day?
You don't want that.
I do.
Not,
I do
it's
want
not
that.
good. My grade for the first day is a D-, man.
Ooh,
All risk.
that is rough.
I mean, so much risk. So
But it's
much
not
risk.
no reward. But it's not no reward, right? Like
Right now, it's no reward.
well, for everyone, it's no reward.
Let me put it
right
this
now.
way. Let me put it this way. If an insurance agent came up and said, "Hey, do you want to insure this draft?" How much would the premiums be for the Royals?
They'd be high.
They had the riskiest picks all day.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
had the
That
riskiest
is
picks
true.
that were taken today. They would have
That
the
is
highest insurance premiums on this draft. That is
That is
insane to me for an organization who is in the situation that they are in.
That is true. I
So
will give them a
D-.
C minus. I will give them
And
a
it-
C minus because I like the fact that they took upside, right? It would have disappointed me more if they had taken 3 Roccafortes. If they had taken Jacob Wilson and freaking, name a guy. I can't think of a dude at 44, but just some, shortstop who's not really a shortstop. Decent hit tool, no power, filled out physically, all that type of thing. If they had taken that 3 times, I'd be way more pissed than I am right now. The fact is, yeah, it's a small chance that Blake Mitchell will hit and Walters will hit, but
here's the thing we got to tell
upside.
people. There's not a great chance that either one of them hit.
Yeah.
Okay? Like if you said bet on this, either both of them will make one All-Star game in their careers, or both of them will never make it to Major League Baseball. Which one is more likely?
Both of them will never make it to Major League Baseball.
That's what we're dealing with, Royals fans.
Yeah.
That's what we're dealing with. Okay?
That said,
it is more likely that neither one of them makes it to Major League Baseball than both of them make a single All-Star game in their careers.
That said, part of that is because one of them is a pitcher, right? And so, there's that risk, which, we do have to take into account. But I think that the likelihood that Mitchell makes it to the major leagues is very good. I think he'll make it to Major League Baseball. I think
Bubba
his
Starling
ability
made it to
hit-
Major League Baseball. They
That's
will
the thing.
force those first-round picks to Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I think his
That will
ability to
happen.
hit will get him to Major League Baseball. Will he succeed and excel in Major League Baseball? That's a whole other conversation, I think, for another time. Alex, you look perplexed by something.
Do you remember the kids from the Little League World Series? Like one of the kids' names was like Cash Money or something.
Yeah.
No, but
And he had
that
a-
sounds awesome.
And he had a brother. Do you remember his brother's first name?
No.
No.
Easy
Oh,
money.
yeah, that'd be a good one, too.
Yes. No. This is him. This is him.
Is he getting drafted?
Yes. I didn't know
What's
this.
his name?
Blake Money.
Blake. We got to take him. We're on the
We
Blake
gotta
train
take him.
now.
We're on the Blake
What?
train.
How do you name one of your kids Cash Money and the other one Blake?
If I were
yes,
Blake, I would feel
this
so
is
bad.
him.
about
I'd be
myself.
pissed.
I'd be like,
I was looking because I joked that they're cornering the market on Blake. So I searched Baseball America's draft register for Blakes, and I saw Blake Money on here at number 4, not 39. I'm like, now hang on, is that Cash Money's brother? That is Cash Money's brother. It's Blake Money.
if I'm Blake, all I'm thinking every day is, why I gotta be Blake?
Okay, so there are 5 more Blakes on Baseball America's top 500. We can get left-handed pitcher Blake Dickerson. Blake Dickerson is From Virginia, high school left-handed pitcher. Blake Wright is a shortstop out of Clemson. Blake Morningstar is a high school right-handed pitcher from Pennsylvania. Blake Grimmer, high school shortstop from Michigan. And Blake Money, baby, right-handed pitcher out of LSU.
I
there are
want
5
Blake
more-
money.
There are 5 more opportunities for the Royals to draft a Blake left for the rest of the draft.
You know what? It'd probably make more sense than the shit they did today.
Would it make you feel better if they drafted all the Blakes?
At this point,
maybe
yeah.
they do have a model. Maybe they do have a process.
Here's the
Our
model.
model is take Blake's.
All of the Blakes. We're going to take all of them. One of them has to hit. One of them has to be
That's
good.
right.
Our models say
somebody
Blakes
named Blake.
are extremely successful in Major League Baseball. Can you think of a successful Blake? I cannot, but we're going to corner the market inefficiency on Blakes.
Wait, we can look this up on Fangraph. I can look up all the Blakes. Hang on.
What are you, just bored or?
Blake Snell.
Oh
I
yeah,
forgot about him.
obviously. Yeah,
I forgot his name was Blake. I just call him Snell. I
yeah.
forgot he
Well,
was a Blake.
he's getting shanked for the All-Star game, and he didn't get in there. He's
Shanked?
gonna-
Blake
Yeah, he's like
Trinan?
Blake Snell's got a bunch of number 1 and everything, but he didn't make the All-Star team. Am I right?
Blake
Blake
Sabol?
Snell's pitching for San Diego,
Blake-
right?
Blake Perkins. Blake Perkins made the big leagues. Remember him?
Minnesota, right?
It's a real shallow pool of Blakes in the MLB ranks.
Hey,
these days.
apparently there's a guy named Sheriff Blake. Hang on. Whoa. There's a guy
All right,
named
we've
Sheriff.
gone completely off
1920
the
to
rails.
1937. Sheriff Blake was worth 15 wins in his career. So see,
great.
there is a maybe you have to be named Sheriff. Officer Blake.
On that note, we're going to call it for tonight's draft coverage. Thank you for joining us, Weekly Weirdos, for watching the live draft. We really appreciate it. This will come out tomorrow as an episode on our podcasting platforms. I forgot to do any of the advertising, so I might just do that on my own and put it in those podcasting apps. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We'll see you again next week. Until then, be good to each other.
And go Royals.